Alright, so we've been looking at how to draw lots of different geometric forms in perspective, but most of the time we aren't going to just use a basic cone or cube or sphere or cylinder. We're going to be using that as a base shape and then creating other things inside there. So here you see some examples of some of those basic forms that we've been going over. Here's a cube, but notice how we've gone into the cube and we've carved away at it and created another interesting shape. And here's a box where we've done the same thing. There's a cone that it's been carved away at, and here's a tall skinny box, and there's a cylinder. So we can actually create lots of different forms and shapes inside those geometric shapes we've been working on. Here's another example of a sphere that's been made into a chair. And here's another example of a cylinder. This is a base cylinder that's been carved away to create another type of chair. And then here we have some more examples. These were all just regular cubes, and then we've gone in and created fun chairs in all different shapes and sizes with a basic cube. And there's some more furniture as well, all starting out as that basic cube. So let's look at how we go about carving away to create something different, more fun, interesting from our basic cube. So here we already have that cube drawn. There's our horizon line, our vanishing points, and we've got a good 2-point perspective cube to start with. And remember, it's made of glass. We can see through it, so we can see where all of the different edges are, and that's so vital in order to create an accurate drawing of whatever we're going to put inside. So let's go ahead and create a chair out of this cube. I'm going to start by creating the sides, like sort of a profile along this edge, and from there I'm going to use both my vanishing points, and I'm going to complete it as we go along here. So once again, I'm going to go and I'm going to sort of map out the shape I want for this chair on this side. Now notice this line here. This would end up going back to the vanishing point right. This is going to be the back of the chair, so it's sloped. Now chairs don't sit straight up and down. They have a slope because they're ergonomic. And then I'm going to have the legs coming down here and coming around to the back. But there's some thickness on the leg. So here's the front edge. Adjust that just a little bit. Now we're kind of sketching this in lightly as we're just making it up as we kind of go here. So we can go along and define the lines that we really like after a little bit. But we're just going to start real light. So notice too, I've brought in the thickness of the base here. And then I'm going to come over here to the left side, and I'm going to start getting the thickness of the front side of this leg, as you can see there. So now we've got some dimension for the leg of this chair. Okie doke. Now this is going to come across and go back to the vanishing point right or left over here, and that's going to help us find where the seat height travels all the way across and where the leg on the other side is going to come in. So right here I've just sort of eyeballed. I'm trying to match the thickness of the leg here with over here. So I've kind of just eyeballed it going off of that. And then this is going to go back parallel to the back line over here. And it would eventually go back to the vanishing point. And notice I've come up for some of the thickness so I can bring this across. See, utilizing the perspective, you can really just pull things across from one side to the next and get a very accurate representation. Okay, now our seat is going to come across here. Our seat cushion is going to have some thickness to it. And it's going to go back to here. And this This is the edge of the seat cushion. And let's pull this back over here. And remember, that's going to go back to the vanishing point over here. And then this, this line here is going to go back to the vanishing point over here, which is our seat line. We're actually going to, let's see, you see a little bit of the top edge of, well, actually, we're going to go down there. So this is the top edge here along the back, and the seat cushion is going to go across. Just going to see a little bit because it's actually kind of tilted down, so we're just going to see a little bit of that. And all of these little details here are things that you just need to start looking at out there in the world, and that's what your lookbook is all about, is getting you to look at things and start to see how different things come together, you know, details of furniture design, details of graphic design, all these things out there in the world and how they work. So let's see, this line down here is going to come across. All right, now this chair is going to need some support along the back. If this maybe were metal, it would be able to cantilever out that way, but we're going to give it a stretcher as well across the back here to just give it some support. So this stretcher goes between the two different legs, and that once again goes back to the vanishing point over there on the left. That goes down there, and then there's also going to be a thickness for that piece. So let me go ahead and darken this in just a little bit more so you can start to see it. There's our leg and our stretcher. Here is sort of a base support for the seat, the back support, the cushion. There's an angle right here where these two cushions come together. You see just a little bit of the top, because that's what we're seeing of the top. We're seeing the top of our box. And I'm going to just curve this a little bit here so it's a little softer, so it looks like a more comfortable piece to sit on. Anytime you have sort of a rounded edge, you can use two lines across there to help illustrate that as well. And there we go. There is a little chair carved out of a basic box. We go back in and we could add some shading and some a cast shadow, and we'd have a really nice little drawing, starting off with just a cube.